Welcome to Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona. And I thought I'd give you a partial garden tour, about half of my yard today. And it's just a peaceful, restful place for Joe and I. And we are in the north garden right now. And I have my towers like I do down in Arizona. And these ones are filled with petunias and pansies. And it's just a restful place. One of my favorite flowers are clementises. In fact, I'm going to plant a few more of them when the weather cools down a little bit. The tomatoes are doing fabulous, and a lot of the flowers are either opened or about to open. Sometimes I like to look at things at a different perspective. So this is me looking up at our deck, and you can see the Swiss chard growing in the baskets. When there's little spots in your yard that have more shade, plant shade-loving plants. And there's an Arctic kiwi right there. But I am just so surprised how plants will decide where they want to grow. This grapevine is reaching over to a hanging basket on the tree. But I try to use up every little nook and cranny that I have with lots of annuals and perennials. Now this is my swarm that I caught. And I'm about to put it into a bigger hive so that it has more room and it can make more honey for me. And the raspberries are just turning this week, and they are so delicious. I eat them every day that I go outside. But this north garden is the most quiet, peaceful place in my yard, and the coolest because of all the shade. And it is just a fabulous place to sit, relax, and just enjoy the summer. But I try to keep shade-loving plants in the shade, sun-loving plants where they're going to get a lot of sun so that they can just really thrive. The girls have been still giving me 5 eggs a day. Now in front of the woodpile this morning, I planted some vining flowers. I thought it'd be kind of nice to go in front. We won't use the wood pile during the summertime. And so I just thought it was a great place to do. Now this is the lower back garden. It has a lot of shade, and I was really pretty concerned about planting those squashes in there. But they have started to take off. I mean, they're nowhere near the size of in the full sun. But this is a quiet place, and sometimes I'll just pull a chair up and just sit there. All the zinnias in the pots are about to flower. Give them another week and a half, and they'll be in full bloom. There's more Swiss chard, there's basil, there's different herbs in here, cilantro, oregano, there's more peppers, there's carrots. And they are just loving the dappled sun that they get all day long. And I have different tomatoes in great big pots besides tomatoes in the ground. Another beehive back there. And it's all right by the pizza oven. Now over on this side, this is our patio side. It gets extremely hot. So I moved some aspen. I just dug them up. They were little babies. And we'll see how that does. But even along the stairs, there's pots and pots and pots. Now, over here, I thought my peach tree was completely dead, but it sent up a shoot. Now, this apple tree, see how dark it is and how dark the leaves are? This is actually called a red-fleshed apple. Now, this is our little side deck that we saw the Swiss chard before, and the cucumbers are cascading out of their baskets, and we have our succulents, we have Swiss chard, we have just all kinds of vegetables and fruits. In fact, here's some bell peppers. They are loving the heat that they get every afternoon. And so it won't be long and I'll be able to pick them too. But this is a nice little place. Now here's the front patio. And in these great big pots, last year I had gladiolas. This year I have snapdragons. And because of the grapevine, it really blocks it off and kind of quiets the road noise. And the grapevines grow everywhere. And so they're actually even growing up under the lights. And I have a whole bunch of grasses to plant when it cools down. But 100 degrees is a little warm to plant in the sun, and I didn't want to stress those out. But I have lots of Swiss chard up here too, just because I love that. And the chickens also love the Swiss chard, and so I like to have a lot of that. And brassicas everywhere. So let's just walk around that front yard just a little bit. That very tall one is Amaro, and the bees love the flowers. But there's a lot of herbs that you can just enjoy, or you can make teas, or you can use them medically. That lamb's ear is such an attraction to the bees. But this is extremely hot on this side in the afternoon. In the morning, it's nice and cool. This is the only thistle I like, a globe thistle. But it's just filled with perennials that come up every year, and little apple trees. And Joe and I scraped the stairs and repainted it. We just have a little bit of side painting to do that we have to trim some grass. And it was a bluish gray, and now it's a green. But it's nice, it's quiet, and it's relaxing, and people enjoy it when they walk up and down the street. They're always stopping and telling us how much they like the gardens. So let's go over to the other side of the front yard. Now you might remember this from videos last year, because this is when we took an area that wasn't doing hardly anything and we planted it up. And the irises bloomed and bloomed, and the catmint and the flowers and the aspen trees have grown and the apple trees have grown. And even though right now it's really cool because it's morning, this is extremely hot in the afternoon. And so it has to have extra water all the time. But the apple trees seem to be fine. That one I caged just because of the antelope. But it is really taking shape over the last year. Now, one of the fun things I really like to do is I like to go over to my concrete bench and I like to just sit, relax, enjoy, talk to the people as they walk by, the kids. So I hope you enjoy one half of my gardens. As always, like, subscribe, share with the world. And of course, I will see you next time. Have a beautiful weekend.